What's going on, people? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the stream. Um, is this? Are we live? I guess you're live now. We're supposed to be live. Hmm. Let's see. Just a moment, guys. I'm trying to sort something out. Okay, I guess we're live. We're live, and it's way better than yesterday. What's going on, people? Welcome to the stream. As you can see in the chat already, make sure you smash the like button on your way in. It helps the channel out. It helps the channel grow. It makes it more discoverable, and it puts it on top of the pile for content like this. It makes it more discoverable, basically. And yeah, loads to 50 subscribers. I think we're at 41 subscribers right now. So just 9 more. And that will be my first milestone on this platform. And I'll appreciate if you guys help me out to achieve that one. You guys have been so helpful. You've been so supportive so far, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not easy, man. But keep it pushing on, keep it moving. Smash the like in on the way in, guys. Smash the like button on the way in, guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for sticking with your boy, man. Yeah. Okay, so as you could tell from the title of the stream, we're going to talk about the Euros for a bit. We're going to talk about the games that have happened, and we're also going to talk about the Hungarian football or the Hungarian national team and their performance in the Euros. We're going to talk about could they have done better, and I have a bone to pick with the nation as a whole, man. I think I'll start off there, but let me just give you a preamble of what's going to happen. We're going to talk about that as well, and we're also going to look into the quarterfinals that will be going on tomorrow. I hope my audio is okay. I hope you can hear me well. If you're in the chat, if you're watching right now, just let me know if you can hear me well so I can adjust the audio, but I'm pretty sure the audio is good. Um, yeah, we're going to also talk about the Hungarian national team, the Hungarian supports. We're going to talk about the quarterfinals. We're going to look at the fixtures. We're going to see what's going to happen in the quarterfinals and the road or the route to the semifinals. We're going to look at the last 8 teams that are remained. And I'm also going to give my predictions to the final outcome of this quarterfinal matches and the eventual winner of the tournament. So stick around if you'd like to hear what I have to say about that. Smash the like in on your way in. Thanks for the support. Go to 50 subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, you can also subscribe to the channel. And I think we're at 41 subs right now, so 9 more to 50, and that'll be my first milestone on this platform. Thanks again for the support. Yeah, so I'm going to start off with the Hungarian national team, man. And that's the first thing I want to get into because it was something that's really it was really kind of bugging me because I'm from Sierra Leone, yes, and whenever we have an AFCON tournament, the AFCON is the African Confederations Cup of Nations, which is very similar to the Euros 2024 that's going on right now. So the Euros, I think the Asian Cup is the same. It's just the same as the Euros, but just for African countries, you know. So whenever Sierra Leone participates in this tournament, man, the buzz and the atmosphere is electric. I can't speak for other African countries because I'm not sure. I've never been in another African country during the course of the tournament ever before, so I can't really speak. But I'm pretty sure that the levels are high. The levels of excitement in the atmosphere is quite high. So it was quite of a shock, man. It was kind of a shock to see how dull the country was during the matches because Hungary had to play 3 matches. I think the first match was against was it the Swiss? They played Switzerland and they played Germany, and then they played their last match against Scotland. And out of the 3 games, they could have had 9 points if they won all of their games, but they ended up getting 3 points, and that was on the last day. And it was a win against the Scottish. I think it was a 94th or 93rd minute winner or so, and they ended up getting 3 points and they finished third in the group. When they started off, their first match was against Germany, so I couldn't really tell. I wasn't sure or of how they were going to perform, because I've never seen the Hungarian national team play football before. I've never seen them before. I've never followed them. Without being in this country, really, I would have not heard about them performing so well in football. And even in the city where I'm at right now, because I'm not in the capital, the city where I'm at right now, football seems very popular with the young people, with the young Hungarians. You know, they have a lot of practices, they have a lot of pitches all over, and a lot of people play football. So I kind of understood that just from proximity, kind of understood that, okay, so these people like football. So I was kind of expecting them to perform better or do a little bit better in the Euros. I was kind of looking forward, I was hyped about it, just to see what they do on the international stage. And man, they were not good. They were disappointing. They were very disappointing. I think they had some of the worst performances I've seen in the tournament so far. And I've seen teams like I've seen teams like England play football. We'll get to England in a bit, you know. And they had some of the worst performances throughout the tournament. Their first match I didn't get a chance to see. I think I was quite busy with something at that period in time. But then I didn't get a chance to see. But I watched the highlights, and it was against Switzerland, and they lost. You know, and I think the only star player they have in the team is the guy that plays for Liverpool, Soboslai. So Soboslai I think he's even the captain. He's kind of a good player, but you can't expect someone who is not as good, as some of the other players in world football, some of the other superstars in his position. He's an okay player, he's a decent player. In my opinion, I think is a good team player, is a good squad player, but individual talent is not all that. But you can't expect him to carry the team to victory. So from what I could see, he was trying to make things happen. He was taking most of the set pieces. He was, taking the free kicks. He was trying to put the ball in the box. He was doing what he could, but then the team around him was not that impressive. They were not that impressive. So there wasn't much that could be done. But that was the first game, and the first game really is an all-outer, and they were in a kind of difficult group. But then I kind of thought that, well, they had a chance against Switzerland, but then Switzerland came with a shocker, because in my opinion, I thought that Switzerland had an aging squad. They didn't really have a lot of young players that would propel the team to the next level. I've been watching Switzerland for a while. I know there's Shaka, I know of Shaka, I know of Shaqiri. I didn't even think Shaqiri made the squad this time around. That's how old the squad could be. But then I think they have a fair balance, with the defender Kanji that plays for Man City. They have a fair balance of players. And it's like, okay, well, Hungary, what can you do against these guys? They're not a powerhouse in world football like some of the other countries. When you talk of powerhouses in European football, you talk of the France, you talk of the Germans, and in world football, you talk of the Brazil, the Argentinas. These are powerhouses, and whenever teams of lesser caliber face these teams, then you expect them to lose. So really, the only loss I expected from the Hungarians in the group stage, I was thinking would come to the Germans. I knew for a fact they would lose to the Germans. One being, the Germans are a powerhouse in European football, and secondly, these guys are the host of the tournament. It's happening in their background, so you could expect that the stadium would be crazy. The atmosphere in the stadium will be crazy, and this might intimidate the Hungarian players to even do anything. Home advantage, as they say in football. It's not all the time applicable, but then in situations like this, it was definitely applicable. Germany were going to beat Hungary, and they were going to win their group. So that was the only match I was expecting the Hungarians to lose. But then they lost to Switzerland as well. They lost to Germany. and they had a fair chance of moving on or progressing to the next stage of the tournament, which is the round of 16, if they won against Scotland, which they did. But there are only 6 groups in the tournament, right? And to get to the round of 16, they take 2 teams. They take the first and second teams of the 6 groups, and that's 12 teams, right? And Hungary finished third. So they had a chance of getting by being one of the highest points and highest scoring points, third place. But then unfortunately, I think they couldn't make it because they only had 3 points, and there were other teams that finished third that had 4 points. Some teams finished third and they had 5 points, so they were unfortunate to make it. I think another team finished third with 3 points as well as Hungary, but they had more goals. Throughout the tournaments, I think Hungary had a goal difference of a minus or so because they considered, was it 2 goals against Germany, 1 against Switzerland, and they only scored 1 against Scotland, so which was the kind of a minus. They had a minus goal difference, so it was kind of like 0 or something, you know. Sorry, but then I didn't expect them. Like I said earlier, I didn't expect them to do much in the tournament. I just kind of expected them to, you know, finish third minimum. I was thinking, yeah, Scotland would be a fair match for them, but they should be able to beat Scotland and Switzerland as well. I wasn't too sure about Switzerland, but now that I've seen the Swiss play, I'm kind of convinced about what they can do. And that's why they've made it to the final 8 out of 32 teams. I think they've made it to the final 8. Is it 32 or 24? I think it's 24 teams. Yes, out of 24 teams, they made it to the final 8. So yeah, but my problem with the Hungarians was the atmosphere. That was what I was alluding to. The atmosphere and the country. Man, I think, was it in 2022? I think it was 2022. Yeah, 2 years ago, the AFCON happened. I think it was in Cote d'Ivoire. Forgotten the host countries. No, it wasn't Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire hosted this one that happened earlier this year. I think it was I kind of forgotten the host. It was Cameroon or so. But yeah, the AFCON happened 2 years ago, and then Sierra Leone, my country, the first country I support, obviously, because I'm Sierra Leonean, so that's my first national team. They made it to the tournament, they qualified, and they played in the group stage. We are like not that impressive when it comes to football. We're like Hungary, you don't really know what to expect when Sierra Leone steps up to the pitch. But we might pull a shocker, we might beat a big country, a bigger nation than us, people that's a country or a nation that people expect to perform well. We might just pull up and then just give them a stunner, or might just pull off a upset and end up with a draw. I think when the group as Ivory Coast, the Cote d'Ivoire, and Cote d'Ivoire is kind of a giant of African football when you look at Africans, So I think our first match was against Cote d'Ivoire, and we ended up pulling a stunner. We ended up drawing that match. It was a 1-1 or so. It was like crazy. It was crazy. But what I was trying to say is that from the very morning, the match happened later in the afternoon, maybe around 3, 4, 5 in the evening or in the afternoon. I can't remember. But then in the morning, you knew if you were doing anything, if you, let's say, you were going to school, you were going to work, you moved around, even if you stayed in your compound, the entire day, you could feel there was a buzz in the atmosphere. You could tell that something is happening. You could always tell that something is happening when Sierra Leone is in a tournament like that and the country is about to play football. As a country about to play football, you can always tell something is about to happen. There's a buzz in the atmosphere. There's an excitement in the atmosphere. People, you go out in the streets, you see people wearing the national jersey, the football kits. You will see people painting, and maybe workers painting their taxis, the vans, the pudas, people will be painting their lorries, or, it seems very festive. It's a very festive thing whenever the country is in a tournament like that. You can, not to talk less of the World Cup. Throughout my lifetime, I've never seen my country qualify for the World Cup. So I think that would be levels. That would be insane, more insane than the AFCON. But yeah, you can always tell, people gather around. You see that maybe even on that day, if you're in school or you're in work, people get off early, people go home early, people take excuses from their employers. People are let off early so they can go watch the game. And there's this sense of camaraderie. There's this sense of togetherness. There's this buzz. You can always feel the buzz in the atmosphere. And if we end up scoring a goal, Jesus Christ, if we end up scoring a goal, it's crazy. It's crazy. You will be in your home, you'll be in your house, you'll be wherever you are. You will hear the screams. You will hear people screaming. You could be somewhere isolated. You could be so far away from human beings and whatever. You hear the shouts because people will be knocking pots and pans. People will be screaming at the top of their lungs. Even if we know we are going to lose the match, even if we know we're not really going to make it so far in the tournament, there's just this sense of, let's be patriotic because our country is playing today. And whatever the outcome, this is going to be an experience for all Sierra Leoneans together. We're going to enjoy these moments together because, yeah, you know what? We don't usually get to enjoy moments like this. So when moments like this come along, it's like few and far between. So we might as well make the most of it. We enjoy. We don't really care how far we make it in the tournament. If we end up winning, boo-hoo, we win. If we don't, no problem. We are going to have fun. We are going to be buzzing. We are going to support our country. We are going to be patriotic. There was nothing like that in Hungary, man. There was nothing like that. It was like when Hungary was playing, it was like any other day. It didn't feel like the country was competing in a major tournament. And the Euros is one of the elite tournaments in world football. When you talk about the Euros, you talk about the Euros with the World Cup, you talk about the Euros with the Champions League. When you talk about tournaments, football tournaments, the Euros is right up there. The Euros is right up there. You talk about the Euros with the Copa America, it's right up there. So them playing was like any other day. In fact, it felt less. There was less energy in the atmosphere. I was like, what's going on? I am a foreigner. I'm from Sierra Leone, and I seemed more enthusiastic about their performance, about them being in the tournament, than even the Hungarians. I'm like, come on, man, come on. It was so disappointing. It was so frustrating, and I was like, meh. They don't seem concerned. And I think I had a conversation with one Hungarian man I know. He's an older man. He's not a young guy or young boy or anything. I spoke with him. I was like, man, you guys played yesterday. And I noticed that nothing really was going on. It's like, come on, where's the vibe? Where's the atmosphere? It's like, well, he didn't even know himself, right? Could be somewhere between his late 30s and early 40s, and he was like, he himself didn't know that they were even playing football. I was like, what? Like, how won't you know that your country is competing? And why don't you have the dates marked down that, yeah, we're playing this country, they were playing this other country? There's something you should know. But I don't know, maybe it's because of where I'm from, of the way we look at Sierra Leone competing in major tournaments or major competitions. Maybe that's how I look at it. So I expect everyone to look at it the same way. But then I was kind of disappointed, not going to lie. I was kind of disappointed. And he made a comment about well, the reason why most of the Hungarians don't care about football is because they know they're bad, they know they won't do well, and blah blah blah. They know they're not going to make it so far in the tournament, and there are other sports. That was the thing he landed on. He was like, there are other sports that they should be putting focus on instead of football. He said Hungary performs well in other events, like I think he mentioned another sport. I can't really remember what it was. I think it was handball. He mentioned something about Hungary performing well, but then the governments, they don't invest in other sports. All the money is being given to football, and that's a complaint that I think is universal. Football is the number one. It's not arguable. It's not arguable. It's not debatable. It's a fact. Football is the biggest sport in the world. There are other sports like cricket, there are other sports like rugby, basketball, but football, what these Americans call soccer, is the biggest sport in the world, and you can't compete with how massive the sport is. You can't compete. The biggest stars, the Lionel Messi's, the Cristiano Ronaldo's, the biggest stars come from football. The largest support, international global support, comes from football. You can have football fans all the way in Middle East. You can have football fans all the way in Asia. You can have football fans definitely in Africa, in Europe, everywhere, South America, North America. There are football fans everywhere. People watch football legally. They stream the games illegally. A lot of people watch football. It's the biggest sport, so you can't expect a country not to invest in football. I used to do I used to do track and field back in Sierra Leone, and this is something that a lot of people also complain about. Oh, football, why are people investing money in football? Meanwhile, something like track and field that's producing more talent, something like boxing, something like this, they don't invest in this. It's simple economics, guys. It's simple economics. It's not that difficult to understand. Football has more demand. It has more demand, so therefore supply has to be given to it. It has to get more money, more money, more money, more money, more money. But then the arguments that they argue back is that, oh, well, since we are putting all our money, putting all our resources in football, why aren't we performing well? Because other countries are better than you. It's that simple. The other countries are better than you. How did they get better than you? They got better than you by investing in the football, by investing in the sports. That's how they got better than you, by investing in the sports. Maybe they did it longer for a longer period than you. Maybe they've been doing it for hundreds of years, they've been doing it for centuries, maybe for decades, and maybe you started a little bit late. It's just like if you've been doing something, if you've been studying a language for the past decade, past 10 years, and that only caught up that, oh, I need to study this language too, and I've only been doing it for 2 months, obviously you're going to be light years ahead of me. And by the time I catch up to your level, maybe you've even moved on beyond that level, you've gone further, but then I'm getting there, but it will take more time. So that's no reason, or it's not good enough reason, in my opinion, for you not to invest. It's not good enough reason for you not to invest. But then I guess that different strokes for different folks. It's like if it doesn't work for certain people, it doesn't work for certain people. But then football is global, guys. Football is international. It's global. It's the largest sport, and you can't really do anything. You can't really do anything about how people view the sport. You can't really do anything about it. But yeah, I was just expecting a little bit more from them. Maybe in the capital, maybe in Budapest, certain things were happening, but I didn't know about it. From with the city where I'm at, I didn't see any movement. I didn't see any motion. It seemed dried. It seemed still. You couldn't even tell if anything at all was going on. Everyone just moved around like it was a normal day. And they had 3 matches, guys. Not one, not two, 3 matches. So if you have 3 matches, at least let's see some life. For one of these matches minimum. Let's see some life. Let's see some life. Let's see some energy. Let's see some support. Let's see some patriotism. But then one thing I've kind of peeped is that, man, nobody likes Hungary, including the Hungarians. So it's like, man, well. Anyways, well, that's the rant on the Hungarian situation. I wish them luck if they were to ever make another tournament in the Euros. And if there's one thing I could suggest is that just be a little bit more patriotic. You have a lot of foreigners in the country, and the way they see you, support your country, man, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's not pleasing. It's not pleasing. It's not cool at all. So that's one thing I might suggest. If you're an Hungarian watching this, I have how many viewers do I have now? I have 2 viewers. If you're locked in, thanks for locking in, man. I hope that you already liked the stream. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm at 41 subscribers and I'm trying to get to 50. That's the first milestone. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed and turn on the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I go live like this or upload a pre-recorded video. Anyway, so that's that for Hungary and their performance in the Euros. Moving on to the next topic. My thoughts on the Euros. Well, now there are 8 teams left in the quarterfinals. These teams being the host Germany, Spain, Portugal, France, Switzerland, England, Netherlands, and Turkey. These are the last 8 teams left. So I think tomorrow there'll be the first quarterfinal clash between the Germans and the Germans between the Germans and is it Spain? I think Spain. So let's talk about that first clash first of all. So fortunately, I think I've seen at least 90% of the games that the Germans have played. And man, they're looking good. The Germans are looking good. I was thinking leading into the tournament, always the host country have an advantage. The host countries always have an advantage. because they have the home support. All their stadiums are filled with their supporters, with their fans. So, and it's kind of intimidating for other nations coming in. You see the country's flags everywhere. The supporters are making a noise, raising the roof. So it's kind of intimidating for other countries to play against the host nations. And the host nations this time around are not pushovers, because sometimes you can get a host nation with all that support, but then yeah, they maybe they're not that good, so they might not get too far in the tournament. It doesn't matter. The home support only plays a little role when it comes to the stadium atmosphere. But then when it comes to playing the actual game, you have to be good. You have to be good to win. And fortunately for the Germans, they are a good footballing nation, and also they have the home advantage. So most of the games they've been able to breeze past their matches, man. I watched the opening match against Scotland. That was a beat down for the Scottish, man. It was a beat down for these guys, man. They were cooked. They were terribly cooked. In fact, they were put on the grill and they were flipped over, man. Almost burnt, man. So they've been playing well. Kai Havertz has been a very decent player for them throughout the tournament. Musiala has been, I think, he's been one of their best players alongside Toni Kroos and Ike Gundogan. They've been so good throughout the tournament, and nobody talks much about the centre back, their back line. I think they've not conceded as much. I think even the first game they conceded one goal, which was an own goal, which was just a slight deflection of Rudiger, but they've not conceded much throughout the tournament, and they're looking dangerous. They're looking dangerous. They are looking like potential winners of the tournament. But then they face a steep task tomorrow, playing against another potential winner of the tournament, which is Spain. Man, Spain have been the best team, hands down. If you've been watching the Euros ever since the tournament started, you could tell that, man, Spain have been so good. They have been so, 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 so good. I think they've conceded the least, if not second, but I think they've considered the least amount of goals. They won their group by winning all the games. They had 9 out of 9 points. Their semi-finals was a walkover for them. Sorry, the round of 16 was a walkover for them. Beating their opposition, was it 4-1 or so? Imagine on a round of 16, you're beating teams 4-1. And this young Spanish man, this Yamal, what's his name? Lamine Yamal, man. He's one of the best right wingers. He's one of the better right wingers I've seen since Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez is now retired, I think, or he's now playing in Saudi. He's playing in Saudi or so. But then Lamine is a baller, man. His left foot is wicked. His left foot is wicked, man. Nico Williams, and then obviously with the experience in the midfield, like the likes of Rodri, the experience at the back line with the likes of Carvajal, man. The Spain team is well balanced. It's very well balanced. They have a mixture of very young talent and at the same time experienced players that have seen it all, players that have played in the Champions League, players that have won the Champions League, players that have won La Liga, players that have won trebles, all across Europe. So there's large experience in the Spain team. So tomorrow's clash between these two teams, I think, will eventually provide the winner of this clash might end up winning the entire tournament. Don't take my word for it, but if you're a betting man, put some money on it. Trust me, the winner of the tie tomorrow, Spain versus Germany, will end up winning this tournament. They will end up winning this tournament. Clip me today, quote me whenever, but Spain or Germany might win this tournament. But then my prediction, I'm predicting, I'm predicting the Germans have home advantage, right? And the Germans are not pushovers either. This is they're hosting the tournament. But Spain, guys, Spain have been too good. They've been too good. They've shown consistency throughout the tournament. They've just been doing this. If you know about graphs, they've just been doing this. There's not been any curve or downward slope or whatever. It's just been upward. It's just been upward. Every match you see the Spanish play, they've been getting better and better. And you can't really say that for the Germans. Sometimes they've been having a little bit of dips in the match, but then Spain have been consistent throughout, man. So I want to give it to the Germans. I want to give it to the Germans because of the home advantage, but I think they will get outdone by Spain. So my prediction is most likely the match will get to extra time. It may get to extra time. It will get to like extra added time. There'll be no winner in 90 minutes. I think in the 90 minutes of gameplay, the goals will happen, maybe a 1-1 or a 2-2, but they may draw and they may get to extra time. And Spain might just nick it in the extra time. I don't think it will go to penalties, but Spain might just nick it in the extra time, you know, and the Germans will be out tomorrow. That's, I think, is what is going to happen with the Germany versus Spain match happening tomorrow. And then the second clash of the day, I think, is going to be between Portugal and France, man. It's going to be Mbappe FC versus Ronaldo FC. You know, Ronaldo is almost 80, man. That guy is old enough to be my grandfather, man, but he's still playing football. That guy should retire, man. People are actually tired of seeing him play. You know, the guy started playing before some of us were born, because some of you, even some of you watching before some of you were born, he was playing football. I think he started playing somewhere in 2003, 2004. So it's like, man, why aren't you retired yet, man? But then he has this hunger, he has this hunger for the sport, but people are just tired with him, man. He's one of the goats. He's one of the best to ever play the sport, but people are tired with him, and I think he's from watching the Portugal match. I think his presence is needed in the squad, but I don't think he needs to be starting matches, man. I don't think he needs to be starting matches, and I think that he is a hindrance really when he plays. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's not as skillful as he used to be. The only thing that he really offers when he starts is a lot of experience. You know, there's a lot of experience, and he's also the captain of the squad, so a lot of leadership as well. You know, telling players what to do. You know, trying to motivate his teammates as the game goes on. You know, and his moments are lacking right now. You know, sometimes in the past when Ronaldo was at his peak, when he was in his prime, you know he could like snatch at a moment. You know, the game could be going one way, game could be going another way. It could be going in a funny way that's not in Portugal's favor, but then he can just do something crazy and win the match. You know, that was the X factor that he had back in the day. But he's no longer in his 20s, he's no longer in his 30s, and definitely no longer at his peak. So man, he's a hindrance. He's a hindrance. He's a hindrance. However, on the opposite side, man, France have not been looking amazing. France have not been looking good this tournament, man. And France are always, whenever France gets into a tournament, be it the World Cup, be it the Euros, they're always favorites. France are always favorites because why? France always have a good squad. They always have a good squad of players. They always have a good 20 something squad of players. You can always find French players playing all over Europe, and these guys play well. But then this tournament, they've been looking terrible, man. They've been looking awful. They even knocked out my excuse me. They even knocked out my second team, which is Belgium. I support Belgium. I support Belgium for the Euro tournament. I support Belgium for the World Cup. Why do I support Belgium? Because my favorite player of all time is Belgian, Eden Hazard. So I always love supporting Belgium because I just know that Eden Hazard is a Belgian. Even though he's retired now, he's retired from the sports, he's retired from nationals. Yeah, I still support Belgium because I have so much affinity for my favorite player, man. I love Eden Hazard, man. Anyways, they got past Belgium in the round of 16, and it was not convincing. It seemed so lucky. It never seemed like this guys deserve it. It never looks like France were going through the gears, because normally when France play football, man, they they knock you around, it's like they give you some uppercuts, they give you some punches, you'll be dead in your head, you'll be getting some swollen lips, swollen eyes, black eyes, and all that stuff, but then this tournament they've been looking so bland, man. They've been looking like bread, so still, no spice, no nothing. And their star player, the captain right now. I don't know why I'm doing quotes because he's actually the captain, but then yeah, Mbappe, man. Mbappe. What to say about this guy, man? Well, he has the pressure of the footballing world on his shoulders right now because ever since he was a younger talent, he's not as young as he used to be. I think he's almost 26 or 25 now. But then this is the prime age for footballers. When you're like 25, 26, between those ages, you should be at your peak, you should be at your prime, you should be performing at the highest level, you know. But then it seemed like when he was younger, probably in his 20s, 21, 22, 19, during that time, he was more of a threat than he is now. Right now it seems like, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know what's going on with his transfer from PSG to Real Madrid. It's like he has a lot going on right now. I don't really know what's going on in his life. I don't really dive deep into athletes' lives like that. I just look at the sports and take it at face value. But I don't really know what's going on, but he seems distracted. I'm not going to lie. Mbappe looks distracted, and the France team, as a result, is not looking good. The France team, as a result, is not looking good because whenever Mbappe is in that France team, he brings some amount of excitement. He brings some amount of pace to the attack. He brings something different. But then now that maybe Ballon d'Or is looming around the corner, Ronaldo is retired, Messi is retired, or they no longer play in Europe, they're out of contentions for these top trophies, for this top individual accolades. So there's a lot of pressure on Mbappe's shoulders, him, himself, the likes of Erling Haaland. Even though I don't consider Haaland to be, in the contention for Ballon d'Or conversations, maybe the best striker in the world, yes, but Ballon d'Or, I don't think so. But Mbappe is in that circle. The Mbappe, the Vinicius, these guys are in that conversation, and yet I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's going on with France, but then they've been underwhelming. I've not been impressed by France. I've not been impressed at all by France. And the France versus Portugal, the Portugal team is kind of good with the exception of Ronaldo. With the exception of the hindrance of that Ronaldo brings to the team, the Portugal team is kind of good. It's kind of okay. They have a lot that's going on for them in the midfield. With the likes of Bernardo Silva. I like Rafael Leao. I think he brings something different to the game. Pace and power. Sometimes you need some pace and power in the team. You know, I like the likes of João Cancelo. Cancelo is very technical, very skillful. So Portugal have an all-around good squad, but then when it comes to Ronaldo being the pivot in the strike, then they have a problem. But Portugal versus France is a promising match. It's a promising match. And I think my prediction is going to go towards. I think France will get knocked out tomorrow, guys. I think France will get knocked out tomorrow. I think Portugal will just edge it over them, and they will do it in the 90. I think Portugal will edge it over them, and they'll do it within the 90 minutes, and France will get knocked out tomorrow. So the first winner will be the Spanish people, and then the second winner will be the Portuguese people. And I think the winner of these sides will face each other eventually. So I'm predicting already the semi-finals is going to be Portugal versus Spain. Portugal versus Spain. That's going to be the semi-final because Portugal will beat France tomorrow. I'm predicting it. And then Spain will beat Germany tomorrow. Also predicting that as well. Let me drink some water, guys. Yes, okay. So this third quarterfinal match will be between is it Switzerland and England. Whew, okay. Let's start off with England, man. England have been horrible. They've been horrible. They've been horrible, terrible. These guys they've been stinky, man. They've been stinky. They've been stinky. I'm surprised how they made it past Slovakia, man. I'm not surprised because Slovakia didn't want it as much, but then, man, they should have been knocked out. England should not be in the tournament. England should not be in this tournament. If not for the grace of God, I really don't know what else kept them in the tournament. It's literally the grace of God. Then the tournament by the grace of God. If not for the grace of God, they have been knocked out a long time ago, man. These guys are bad. And the thing about England is they have such a deep squad. They have so many players. But then there's a problem with the manager. There's a problem with the team selection. There's a problem with the squad selection. There's a problem with the team formation, how the team sets up. There's a problem. There's so many problems, man. There's so many problems with the English squad. and these guys are always favorites at tournaments. But then the performance in these Euros have been so horrible. They've been extremely horrible. Like I think the first time I watched the English match, I think I slept, guys. Like I literally slept off. I had my computer on. I was watching the match. I think it was late in the evening, but these guys were so bad. They were so poor. They were so boring. The game was so slow. Man, I only woke up like hours later to realize that, oh shit, I slept off. I couldn't even watch the match. It was that boring. The game was that boring. And they have so many gifted players. But then because of the manager, the way this manager decides to set up, the way this manager decides to do things with the English squad, man, he's having so many problems. He's having so many issues. He's having so many things that's going wrong for him, going wrong for the English squad, and man, it's crazy. Anyways, the Swiss, on the other hand, they've been the dark horse of the tournament. They've been the people have not really been paying attention to, but they've been turning up. They've been turning up when necessary. They've been putting up performances when necessary. They've been showing up when necessary. The Swiss have been doing some crazy things, man. They've been performing when necessary. They've been up to the task. They've knocked out the Italians, man. They knocked out the Italians in the round of 16, and the Italians are a difficult team to play against. The Italians are always difficult to play against, no matter the stage of the tournament. When you face the Italian team, you're going to sweat that day. That's how it is when you play the Italians. You will sweat, you know. So yeah, the Swiss have been quite impressive so far. And I think the clash between them and England, I think England are just going to edge it over them once more. England have been so lucky to have this tournament, man. I think the luck is going to continue to follow these guys up to the semis. I think this is where they're going to face a problem. England will not go beyond the semis. They will go to the semis. So my prediction is England to win. England to win in the 90, and they will knock the Swiss people out of the Euros tournament. Next up, for the last clash of the quarterfinals, we will have the Dutch, the Netherlands, playing against the Turkish. To be honest, guys, to be fair, I've not seen a lot of the Turkish games, but from what I've been hearing online, from the chit chatter online, I've heard that the guys have been playing well. The guys have been playing well. The Turks have been playing very well, and they seem like a steep hill to climb whenever you play the Turks. However, the Dutch, I just feel like the Dutch they have they have a good balance. They have a really good balance. I've watched all of the matches that the Dutch have played, and these guys are looking good, man. They are looking good, and at this stage of the tournament, it's like they're getting better with every game. Their first game was okay, was all right, Their second game, they got better than that. They got better than they were in the previous game. The third game, the same thing. Up to the fourth game is like they're getting better with each and every game. And they had the most convincing victory in the round of 16 with 3-0. They considered nothing and they put 3 goals past the opposition. So these guys have been churning the machine, man. So like it's going to be a difficult task for the Turkish people to get past the Dutch people. It's going to be an uphill struggle for them. And I don't think they'll be up to the task. I think they'll get knocked out by the Dutch. And that will make the semifinals between the Netherlands and England. So that's my prediction, guys. I think the Dutch and the English will face in the semis, and the Portuguese and the Spanish will face off in the second semis. And then the eventual winners. I think we'll have to wait, first of all. We'll have to wait to see how these teams fare on. But then the eventual winners, I'm still going to say Spain, guys. I think Spain will just win this tournament. I think Spain have too much of everything. They have too much balance, too much experience, too much talent, too much technicality, too much cohesion. I think Spain might just edge it in the final. They will do what everyone expects them to do when it comes to the final game of the tournament. So that's my prediction for the quarterfinals, and I've already given you my also predictions for the semifinals, what teams will be facing each other. And the final team, like I said, Spain will win this tournament. But mind you, if the Germans knock Spain out, the Germans will definitely win this tournament. If the Germans can get back to past the Spanish, they'll definitely win this tournament. I promise you guys. So yeah, so far, what's my general take on the what's my general take on the tournament as a whole? Well, it's been good. It's been quite the watch. This is my first Euros that I'm watching whilst being in Europe. I've never been able to watch a tournament or experience a tournament of a continent whilst being in the continent. So this is the first experience for me, with the exception of the AFCON, of course. So yeah, this is the first. This is the first for me, and yeah, it's really good. They're doing good. The Euros is going on well. I think that everything is going according to plan. The first group stages, the football was very mouth watering at that stage because everyone was kind of fresh. The pressure was off. Everyone was trying to do what they were trying to do, trying to play expansive football, trying to capture the crowd, trying to just hype. That was the first few games. But then as the tournaments progressed, as usual, the matches become more WWE. They become more cagey. They become more tight, more tense. There's little room for error because now the stakes are higher. The stakes are getting higher. In the group stages, the stakes are not so high. But now, as you're edging closer and closer to the final, the stakes are higher. You're trying to get some more longevity in the tournament. You're trying to stay longer in the tournament. You're trying to make it as far as possible, without getting knocked out. And we're now at the point where 8 teams, so like 1/3 of the competition is left because 24 competition started, 24 teams started the competition, and 16 of them are out now. We're only left with the last third of these teams. So yeah, the tournament has been good. It's been great. The football has been nice. I've enjoyed Spain most of all. I've enjoyed Spain, watching Spain most of all. I've also enjoyed watching Germany, these two teams, and it's quite unfortunate that they are going to meet in the quarterfinals because if they were at different ends of the path to the final, I think that the final would have been Spain versus Germany. I think that would have been the final. But then, unfortunately, we are going to be denied that spectacle of a final because they'll be meeting tomorrow in the quarterfinals. So yeah, other than that, man, the tournament has been good. I've enjoyed watching Spain and Germany. Portugal has been up and on and off. Netherlands who have been okay, but then they don't seem that convincing. France definitely are not favorites anymore, in my opinion. England are definitely no favorites. They played the worst football out of all the teams that are left in the last 8. And they have the deepest squad, they have the deepest talent pool, and yet they play the most horrible football. It's just quite outstanding. But then, yeah, so I don't know. No, nobody says anything in the chat. If there's anything you want to add on the conversation, if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, if you have any questions about the tournament, if you have any predictions, I'd like to see your predictions as well. I will also leave the video as I'll leave it on my channel so that you can also watch the video whenever you see it. Maybe you're not active right now, but then whenever you get to see the video, I'd like to see you leave a comment below. What do you think? Who do you think the winners might be in the quarterfinals? Who do you think will make the semifinals? And who do you think will win the tournament as a whole? Yeah. So that's that. And like I said, guys, go to 50 subscribers. It's already pinned in the chat. Go to 50 subscribers. I'm at, let me check. It has to be 41. I'm at 41 subs right now. 9 more to 50, guys. That's my first milestone on this platform. And I'd like if you guys help me reach this target. If you guys help me grow on the platform so that I can be motivated to make more content like this, maybe get a slight variation of from time to time different contents, but then the growth is what's needed, guys. I need you guys to subscribe. I need you guys to tell your friends that you think might like similar contents like this. Don't tell a friend that you know definitely won't watch the videos. Tell a friend that you know will like content like this. And as all things start to grow, everything will start to change. I'll get a better camera. Right now I'm only using a webcam. I'm using a webcam. It says 1080 HD, but then I don't know how the quality is as you see me right now. But then I'll definitely get a better camera. I'll get the lights. I'll get everything. We'll go professional with this bitch. If you know what I mean. You know what I mean? We'll do it. We'll do it. So, but I just need the support, guys. I just need the likes. I just need the subs. I just need you to view, watch the streams, watch the content I uploaded yesterday. I uploaded another video. I'm making a series on the Olympics, so I've uploaded 2 videos and they're out right now on the channel, so you can Also watch those videos as well. I also watched the sprint Netflix, the Netflix sprint World's Fastest Human, and I did a reaction, I did a review, I did a watch along. I wanted to do a watch along, but I couldn't. So I did a review instead, and I had my thoughts, shared my thoughts on the channel. That video is also out on the channel as well. You can also check that out if you have the time. And if you like them and you would like to see more content like those, feel free to like, feel free to sub. Do not forget to ring the post notification bell. And yeah, so that's that, guys. Thank you for staying with me in the stream. Whoever's watching right now, whoever these two people are, you guys are angels. You guys are lifesavers, man. God will surely bless you. So thanks for the support. Even though you don't want to make a comment, so I don't know who it is, but then yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Thank you for the support regardless. And yeah, thank you for staying with me. I think that's enough live streaming for today. And yeah, hopefully I'll do a live stream of I'll do a watch along. In fact, I'll do a watch along of the Portugal versus the Spain match tomorrow. I think the match will be playing at 6 o'clock Hungarian time, 6 p.m. in Hungary. The match will be on. So I'll do a watch along with that as well. And we can watch the matches together whilst I'll be watching. I won't be showing the match on YouTube, of course, because I'll be infringing the copyright laws and my channel will get terminated, and I can't bear to lose my channel just at the infancy. So yeah, I'll be doing that tomorrow. I'll post the thumbnail and all that. I'll post the link to the video as soon as this stream ends. I'll set that up, and feel free to click the notification bell on that video as well, so you get notified when I go live, and you can join me if you're not somebody who loves football, who loves watching football. Doesn't matter, you can just hang with me. You can just chat if you have nothing going on at the time or at that very moment. You could just hang with me, just tell me in the chat, or you can even watch football and just listen to my commentary. Put the football on mute and listen to my commentary, and maybe you just get a better insight of the sport through somebody else's lens. So yeah, that's guys. Thank you for everything, the support, the likes, the subs, the comments that you didn't make. And yeah, that's that for the stream today, and I'll see you tomorrow on the next one. Okay, have a good day. Peace.